Hey guys, wanted to take a quick moment and talk to you about Roland's HP lineup of pianos. We do have the HP601, 603, and 605 models in stock. So I wanted to cover the things that all three of those digital pianos share in common, as well as some of the features that separate the three. And also, most of our customers ask typically the same couple questions when they sit down for the first time, so we wanted to cover some of the functionality and how to do some of the most common functions on these pianos. All right. The Roland HP605, 603, and 601, they do all contain the supernatural piano sound from Roland. That is their best sound generation, the most lifelike when put next to a grand piano. They also, all three, contain the PHA 50 keyboard with ebony and ivory feel. So it's a completely weighted key system. So when you sit down and play, it feels like you're touching ebony and ivory, as well as having that release just like when you're sitting and playing an acoustic piano. All three have Bluetooth connectivity, so you do have the app that you can download to control the piano, whether you're selecting tones, recording, or playing back the music. There's also things like flashcards and pitch recognition that in your training that will help someone learning how to play the piano. One of the unique things about their HP line that is really cool is the piano designer functionality. All three of these pianos have the piano designer. It basically gives you control over that grand piano as far as individual string tuning, the string resonance, the lid position, and a lot more. The 601 and the 603 and the 605 do have a little bit different functionality in the piano designer. So some of the differences, the 603 and the 605, they have different soundboard types. You can control the cabinet resonance, hammer noise, as well as key off noise, where the 601 doesn't have those options. Also, the biggest difference between the 601, 603, and the 605 is their speaker system, so that what generates the sound and what you listen to when you play these pianos. The 601 has two 4 3/4 inch speakers and puts out 14 watts of power. The 603 has the same 4 3/4 inch speakers, but it's putting out twice the power at 30 watts. What separates the 605 from the other two is its acoustic projection system. So it does have the two 4 3/4 inch cabinet speakers, but it also has two 2-inch near field speakers and two 2-inch spatial speakers. So 30 watts to the two, and then 7 watts as well to the spatial and near field speakers. So it gives you more of that texture of sitting down and playing an acoustic grand piano when you're at the 605, but the 603 and the 601 do sound great as well. One of the nice things on the Roland HP line is that all of the interfaces are the exact same, whether it's the 601, 603, or 605. The 603 and the 605 do have a few more settings on them that you can control in that piano designer, but I'm just going to highlight some of the features that we get asked about. Usually the first thing that people want to know is, how do I change the sounds of the piano? When you turn it on, it's that straightforward grand piano. And actually I had that changed, so here's the concert grand piano. In this section you have 5 different categories: piano, electric piano, organ, strings, and other. All that you do is select that category, and it's going to change that piano sound to an electric piano, organ, string, or other. The other has your general MIDI sound, so everything from alto sax to synths, and things like that, even drum sets. But the plus and minus over here to the right will cycle through those categories. So I select organ, I start out with the pipe organ, I can cycle through all the different types of organs, and so on. The second thing that gets used a lot, especially in institutions, so if it's going into a church or a concert hall or classroom is to be able to transpose. Now transposing is going to take the piano and shift the key of it so that I can play in the same key or read the sheet music without having to mentally transpose the information. So all that you have to do, they put a transpose button, you press that button, and then you just hit up and down to the plus and minus to transpose the key. It's a very simple process, and it allows you to transpose. So if you're singing a song that's a little bit too high, you just hit that transpose button and you can bring that key right down. Some other cool things, the key touch is something that I want to highlight. Basically, there are 100 different key touch settings. Now what the key touch is how light or how hard you have to play the piano to get it to respond. So if I go all the way down to 0, basically, it's going to be a fixed. So no matter how hard I press the key or how soft I press the key, it's going to play at the maximum or the full volume. As I move up, a light key touch is going to be louder with less pressure. So for kids that have a really soft touch, especially when they're really young and learning, they might not play as loud, and sometimes on an acoustic piano they can barely get it to make noise, but you can just lighten that key touch. Now if you are an acoustic player coming from an acoustic piano background and are used to an older piano with the heavy action and you just pound that key to get it to play at its loudest, you can set that heavy to where you really have to pound on that thing to get it to play at its maximum volume. So that key touch is nice. You can kind of find a happy medium, what you like as a pianist. And it's going to be a little bit different for everyone. Now there are recording functionality. Recording's very simple on these. If you hit the record button, it's going to be flashing. You can record up to 3 parts, an accompaniment, a left hand and a right hand part, so 3 different tracks. But while it's flashing, if I hit the enter or the play, it's going to give me a 2 measure count off. That's all there is to it. Now that new song is stored. I can play that back. So that's kind of a neat thing there. This piano designer feature is something that's really fun to play around with. So if I select that piano designer and cycle left and right, it allows me to change the settings as far as opening that lid the whole way up, closing the lid the whole way down. The key off noise, so whenever you're playing an acoustic piano and you actually let the key go, the mechanical sound of the keys, the hammer noise of the actual hammer movement, things like duplex scale, full scale string resonance. There are a lot of different settings in this piano designer that you can alter and then save when you find your favorite. So next time you're in, have some fun, sit down on one of these pianos and just try them out. And if you have any questions on them, we're here for you.